Well, I'm delighted now to be joined by Chao Lu, who is the co-founder of Avenue 51. Chao, thank you very much indeed for joining us. You've had a very busy few weeks.
Well, good morning, David, and thank you very much. Yes, it's been a extremely hectic 3 weeks now, leading up to Singles Day, and we run multiple Tmall stores, and all of our brands have done very, very well for this year's Singles Day.
Well, perhaps maybe we can start by helping us understand a little bit about what your role has been at Avenue 51 in enabling a lot of European brands to participate in the biggest 11/11 shopping festival we've ever seen.
Sure. So, David, so Avenue 51, we're there to help European brands to access the Chinese market. And of course, in doing so, Tmall and Alibaba is an extremely important part of that process. We have four pillars within Avenue 51. Number one is the sales channels, and that's what Alibaba and Taobao and Tmall allows brands to deliver. And number two, we assist with the marketing. Then it's IT integration and logistics. And then it's about really talking to the brands, advising on what they should be doing, where they should be investing, and where they should be putting their resources.
Now, given the scale that 11/11 has become, this isn't something that you can prepare for a couple of weeks before the 11/11 program starts. So in your experience, when should brands start thinking about their shopping festival planning?
Absolutely. Well, David, so to tell you the truth, we've finished Singles Day. We're now already considering Singles Day for next year.
You don't even get a day off, Chad.
Well, and I think this is the amount of preparation that both Alibaba does and we have to follow suit. So after every Singles Day, Alibaba will do a wrap up with all the stores about what went well, what could be improved, and therefore that sets a scene to prepare for the next Singles Day. But I think for newer brands, we would strongly recommend start considering it after June, because the process, the more time you have to prepare, the better resources Alibaba can provide, and the better you're prepared. As an example, when you're thinking about the Singles Day, you need to look at what are your key products that you want to promote. China being a population of 1.3 billion is vastly bigger market than most of the European brands that we serve. So therefore, if the Chinese consumers really like one of your products, it can sell extremely quickly. So therefore, preparation and preparing your key products is one of the key, I think, one of the key things that brands need to think about.
And I suppose that preparation is everything from securing raw materials to production and to packaging and clearly shipping, and then obviously marketing.
Absolutely. And David, we work across multiple categories, including health, food, luxury, and for a lot of these brands, they need 3 or 4 months to prepare from raw material, and then from Europe to ship to China, you need to give another two months. So when you work backwards, actually, it doesn't sound that crazy to start preparing now. But I think for newer brands, if you start preparing in June, you will be able to have a good, successful Singles Day.
Now, I often shop at Waitrose. I understand that Waitrose also has participated this year in 11/11, and you've been helping and advising them. Can you tell us a little bit about the Waitrose 2020 11/11 story?
Yeah, so we've been working with Waitrose for 4 years now, and they participated in Singles Day as soon as they started on Tmall, and so for this year, we have a Waitrose flagship Tmall store. We also use Alibaba's Taobao system and also Tmall supermarket. So the way we look at Alibaba is that they have a fantastic ecosystem. So it's not just Tmall within the Alibaba system. Tmall is the flagship. It's where consumers will find out about the brand story and on the Tmall flagship we have a greater SKUs on the flagship store, whereas on how we use Taobao is to discover new products within Waitrose that Chinese consumers may be interested in. So we use Taobao as a test and learn, whereas with Tmall Supermarket is when we discovered a product that consumers like, and we put it onto Tmall Supermarket to really expansionate or expand the consumer reach. As an example, Waitrose honey, we sell more Waitrose honey in a month in China than Waitrose does in a year of their set honey. And we started on Taobao and through live streamers, and we realized that the Chinese consumers really liked the Waitrose set honey. So we then promoted it to the Waitrose flagship store on Tmall. And again, that did very, very well. And then we put it into Waitrose, into the Alibaba supermarket. And then sales just went through the roof.
So I see what you mean in terms of making that entire ecosystem work. You know, from a test and learn sort of environment, right the way through to ensuring that the right SKUs and the right products are in the right places. Plus, I suppose the brand building work done on Tmall. You mentioned live streaming. Looking back at this year's 11/11, that's very early to do that. I think live streaming is going to be the sort of the defining element of 2020 Singles Day and the Overall Shopping Festival. You're running a whole series of stores and advising a lot of European brands on their presence. What's your experience with live streaming, and what should European brands know, learn, and understand to make use of this amazingly now new, powerful sales tool?
Sure. So and David, we started live streaming 4 years ago. So and in fact, in the UK, we did the first live stream from the UK to China, and that was at the Waitrose King's Cross their store at King's Cross.
I know that store very well.
Yes, and you know they've got a bar, and also they've got a jazz band playing.
Indeed, yes.
So it's a fantastic atmosphere, and that's what I think what a live streaming can do for brands is that it brings the Chinese consumers much closer to the brands, and they can really feel the environment and what Waitrose stand for in the UK, and that's what we do extensively with brands, and I think this year has been the explosion of live streamers, and how we use live streaming is in two parts. So number one, we have live streamers who are based in the UK, and they allow they bring the brand much closer to the Chinese consumers, and they're there to set the scene and build the brand. And we also have used live streamers in China, where they are we call them C to B. So they are consumers who have experienced the brand's product and they really like it, and they go on to live streaming to promote about it. So there's no better way of promoting a brand than a happy customer. And I think the beauty of live streaming is that how the brand is being communicated to the consumers is different from each live streamer, and because usually the live streamers have their own fans, so their fans really resonate and trust what the live streamers is talking about or promoting, and therefore conversion sometimes can be very, very good.
Now, for many brands, live streaming feels rather scary. What's your advice for people? Just give it a go, give it a try, see what happens.
Yeah, so in China there are different types of live streamers. So at the very, very top end, there are people called lidati who can sell 100,000 lipsticks within 10 seconds. So those are what we call the top live streamers. And then you've got live streamers who are celebrities who have a large fan base, and those people can, if those people endorse your product, it can reach out to a greater audience. And then you've got live streamers who are smaller in terms of fan base, but because they've built their fan base organically, they have a very tight relationship with their fans. And how we would recommend brands do is to start off with smaller live streamers to find out whether your product really resonates with the consumers, or what products that you've got resonates with the consumers, and then build up. And that way, it's easier for you to control stock, find out what's popular, and it's very, very good for your ROI.
Well, given the number of brands that you work with and their experience over the last week or so, perhaps you could just give us some of your highlights of this year's 11/11, some observations and things that we should think about for the next series of Chinese shopping festivals.
Sure. So this year's Singles Day or Double 11 it started on the 1st of November, and of course the climax was yesterday on the 11th of November. So one of the benefits of that is from a operations point of view, it places less pressure on us because instead of trying to convert customers within 24 hours, we've effectively been given 11 days to do so. And therefore, it allows us to try different things, and it gives us more time to think and to review. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of extending this sales festival. And in fact, what Tmall allows us or encourages us to do is to have warm-ups. So by mid October, we've effectively started to promote and to try out various live streamers and different places to advertise, and in order to find out where the consumers is at. And again, it's all about preparation, I think.
Well, I think it's interesting you say that, because when Alibaba announced that this was going to be over 10, 12 days or so, I think a lot of people were amazingly surprised, and the focus being taken away from a single day. But from what you're saying, also from a brand perspective and from an operations perspective, that move has actually enabled a lot more breathing space, but obviously a lot more thinking space, and a way you can be even more proactive from your brand's perspective.
Yeah, and the other big advantage is that after the 1st of November, we had actually sold 70% of the stock that we had in Bond, and because there's 11 days, we were able to replenish, which we wouldn't have been able to do previously. So that has been a massive boost in terms of sales and performance for the brands. So I think for us, it's been a major plus.
Now, finally, a little bit of your perspective on what you would say to brands who've looked at the performance of maybe their competitors or other brands over 11/11 and thinking, well, next year I really do need to improve what I'm doing, or I really need to take it seriously or even get into the marketplace for the first time. What would you say to those people?
Sure. I think that China has one of the largest internet penetrations in the world. The consumers are willing, and they are very eager to find out more about European brands. So I think from that perspective, I would encourage brands to look seriously at entering to China. However, if they do decide to go into China, you need to be well prepared. We talked to a lot of brands throughout the year, and some brands would say, I just want to pay the fees and think that as soon as I'm on the marketplaces, I'm going to get sales instantly. But that's not the case. I think in order to be successful in China, your senior management team have to have the buy-in within the senior management team, because you need to put a lot of resources into it, in terms of the personnel, and the investment of marketing, in terms of the supply chain, in terms of how, what does your brand want to stand for in China. All of these things, we as partners, or consultants, can guide you, but ultimately you're the brand, and it's the brand that faces the Chinese consumers. So you've got to be well prepared and have thought this through before investing into China. But I think if you are prepared, and you've got the right resources, then you are far likely to succeed.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Chao Lu, the founder of Avenue 51. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, David. Thank you.